Hey, how's it going, everybody? Elite the One here. It's been a week since I beat Alan Wake, and a lot of people have been asking me what my opinion is on the ending and what I thought happened. And I had to actually go back and watch a lot of my Let's Plays in order to come to a conclusion of what I think happened, because I'm not going to lie to you. I was a little confused about the story, confused about the ending. But as I started watching some of my Let's Plays and started paying attention to what was going on, especially on the television screens.
A writer is a light that reveals the world of his story from darkness, shapes it from nothingness. The way a sculptor carves a statue from a block of granite. If I stop, the world I'm making dies. Darkness will reclaim it. It's a long, hard journey into the dark. Alice's life is at stake, but I can't think about that, or I'll lose it. The dread lingers at the edge of perception. I'll push on. Anything is possible here. I'll write the story. I'll save her.
I came up with my own conclusion. Now, what I think happened was, I think at some point, Alan Wake and Alice got into a really bad argument. And, I believe when they actually went to Cauldron Lake, it was to kind of rekindle his love for writing. But I think something terribly wrong happened. I think Alan Wake and Alice probably got into a fight. Alan Wake, if you pay attention to him, seems to be some sort of a hothead, because he blew up at Alice a lot, like over
here that a change of scenery
little
get you
things.
past.
Damn, Alice, everyone
Hey,
keeps...
hey, just hear me out. There's a local doctor, Dr. Hartman. I read a book of his. He has a private clinic here. He specializes in helping artists.
So now you want to get me committed?
No, it's not like that. That's not...
It's like, I just felt like he was really, I wish that dog would shut up too. He was really quick to explode on her, and I think at some point, just like at the ending of the game, I believe Alice might have said that she had enough and she was going to leave him.
I'm leaving you.
What?
I'm leaving you, Alan. I met someone. I'm in love with someone else.
Alice? No, what are you saying? You can't...
You don't love me. How could you? You don't even love yourself. All you do is torture yourself with work you can't do anymore.
She felt that Alan Wake didn't even love himself, so how could he love her? And I believe at some point he might have turned the lights out, and that might have caused Alice in a panic to jump out and fall into the lake. Now, that's just a silly theory that I have, but if you look at Acts 1 and 2, if you pay attention to what's happening on the screens, Alan Wake seems to be really losing his mind. He seems to be insane. He's really frantic. He's really trying to bring Alice back. He's trying his best to write her back. And I feel that his actions kind of dictate that he's guilty. He feels guilt, like he might have caused Alice to fall into the lake. But anyway, that's just a theory. I don't think, I think the whole thing about Jagger, forcing her into the water, I think that's just something he came up in his mind. But like I said, that's a different story. But what I feel happened towards the end is I feel that Alan Wake somehow switched places with Alice. I believe that when he jumped into the darkness, when he jumped into Cauldron Lake, he took Alice's spot. At the end, you see him typing. He's still writing his story. And you see Alice swimming, to shore. And I believe that that's where the real Alan Wake will stay. Mr. Scratch was introduced by Thomas Zane towards the end. Thomas Zane is going to be Alan Wake's autopilot. If you guys ever seen Click, I believe that he's just going to substitute for Alan Wake. He's just going to be on auto mode, and maybe him and Alice will get together and live out a normal life. Or maybe, just maybe, Alice will figure out that that's not the real Alan Wake. The same way that Thomas Zane found out that Barbara wasn't the real Barbara. And maybe Alice will be the one to figure out how to stop this vicious cycle, this catch-22, so to speak, and maybe she'll find a way to get Alan Wake out, and let herself stay out, and from there maybe they can go on and live a happy life. Now, I never played American Nightmare, so I don't know how accurate this is, but like I said, that's what I feel happened. Also, there was a scene where we seen Rose, the waitress. She seems to be kind of out of it. She seems to be still under the control of the darkness. And then as the screen kind of pans forward, you kind of see Nightingale inside the diner, kind of looking out over Rose, and he looks a lot more pale than usual. He kind of looks like the way Barbara did. So my conclusion on this, after looking at it several times, is I feel that the darkness has to manifest itself somehow, and I believe that Nightingale is the new face of darkness. He took over Barbara's spot, and he's a fitting character to do that, because he didn't care rain, sleet, snow. He was pulling his gun out, firing. He didn't care if it was civilians present. He was trying to kill Alan Wake. And that might be why Rose looked the way she looked. He might be controlling Rose. I don't know why they keep picking on Rose, but that's just my interpretation of that. I'm pretty sure that's what everybody came up with. Like I said, I think even though Alan Wake, at the very end of the game where he said, you hear him arguing with Alice and Alice is trying to leave him, he says that didn't happen. I kind of feel that it did happen. I feel like in many ways, Alan Wake is trying to suppress his memories, or he actually forgot. Maybe he has split personalities. Maybe this Mr. Scratch is the good part of him, or the dark part of him, with the dark side of him who's done bad things, or maybe vice versa. Maybe Alan Wake is the dark one and Mr. Scratch is the good one, because Mr. Scratch seems to have a smile on his face when he's introduced. I don't know. That's just open for debate. Let me know what you guys think. I might be way off. This is just my interpretation. Like I said, I went back and watched some of my playthroughs, and it might be some things I'm missing, but that's my interpretation. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Until next time, peace.
Warriors, torchbearers, come redeem our dreams.